Hey, Bart, are you there?
I'm there.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Can
hey.
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? It's doing mic check.
No, it's good.
Okay.
Quality. High def. 5.1.
Whoa. What are you up to?
Well, we're on a drilling rig in north of Midland, Texas.
Oh, so
The Midland Basin.
So you changed location.
We did. We changed locations. I was told that I'd be on a 3-day job. Hey, go to this 3-day job, and then after that you can go home. And the 3-day job has turned into a 7-day job.
Now, have you been home in the past month or so, or how long has it been since you've been home?
No, yeah, it's been a month. It's going to be a month on Sunday, so tomorrow. Midnight
Sunday. Oh, man.
It's busy out here. They're busy trying to get the oil out the ground.
Hey, man, that's what I like to hear. Hey, Bart, those guys were telling me the other day that until that oil gets $75 a barrel, that nobody can make any money.
It depends where you're at. Like out here, I think they said it's like $47 a barrel, where you can be profitable drilling. Offshore, it was like 80, so it's got to 80, so offshore is about to go nuts.
Yeah. What I was talking about is like those guys that like do third-tier type jobs, like maintenance on those refineries that go in and just like, you know, the pump, everything's running more, and all those guys around here. That's kind of what they're saying for the land base. But maybe that's what they're talking about is by the time they get drafted in there, you know. But I get what you're saying too, because it's just more expensive to drill out there than the water than it is up on the land, huh?
Right. Yeah. Water's very expensive because there's a lot more regulation. There's 10,000 feet of risers sometimes. You're real deep. And getting people out there, it's $3,000 or $4,000 a flight.
Yeah.
Up to $10,000 a flight. And that's just get your crews out there. So it's very, very high dollar. This is very cheap because they stick us in a hotel room and we just drive 20 to 30 minutes to work every day.
But now, you're on top of what now? Right now?
We're drilling a saltwater disposal well. So this is a well that they'll use to dispose of salt water they get on the other wells.
Yeah.
Which you told me in Arkansas they like to pull the lithium out. I guess they don't have enough lithium in this salt water here to make it profitable, so they just re-inject it. But we're going to drill all the way down to...
see, I thought... So you're talking about water that was brought up. I thought you were talking about water that was thrown in like a fracking type thing. But you're talking about water that came out of the ground that's salt water.
Right, yeah. They produce... Because they'll produce oil, water, and gas. And they separate it all. And, they'll send the oil and the gas to market. And then the salt water, they got to do something with it. So they have trucks pick it up and bring it to these disposal wells, and then they re-inject it back in the ground to get rid of it. Send it on its way.
I think that I think it's the brine content, whatever that is. It's real high and that's ancient. But now, how old is that water there, you think?
Yeah. This is, it's all Permian, so that's 200 to 250 million year old water.
It sounds like it should be old enough.
It's old, yeah. I don't know if maybe there's just too much of it to get profitable out here. Or no one's really considered it. I don't know.
Hey,
I'm sure they've tested it, but...
you talked about Permian. The other day, my boys and I, we were, they're in school now again, and they were talking about Precambrian. And, of course, that's old.
Now you're in 500 million years old. That's, for us here, that's basement. That's going to be the igneous rock down there, which we won't go that far, but we'll go right to the granite wash down here, which is, it's there at the 400 million year old.
But how deep is that?
Oh, jeez. Out here in this area, it's around 12 to 13,000. No, it's probably like 14,000. Midland basin, 14 to 15,000 to get to the basin, the Cambrian.
But now, between there, between the top of the ground and down where you're going to, what are you going to?
Oh man, we go out here. I wasn't here for the top section. They only brought us out for a little bit deeper because they wanted to make sure they were, getting through the right formations to find the zone that they want to inject in.
Yeah.
And so we've gone through a lot of limestone. It's been mainly limestone and some really nice crystals of calcite. Really nice. I mean, like, wow, like cave, stuff you'd see in a cave or stuff you'd see in a museum. It's really nice crystalline line that they've gone through. And then they're going to get, and they got a lot of pyrite out here. Gold, pyrite, and chert. We've gone through a lot of chert. So this stuff is hard on the bits. Drilling through this, it destroys the bits.
Now, chert's kind of like glass-looking stuff, isn't it?
It's like what?
Glass?
Yeah, it's very glassy, very hard, and very angular, so it's sharp. So it's like drilling through glass.
So now that's Midland, Texas. What does Midland mean? Midland? I mean, is it literally kind of in the middle of Texas?
Not really. It's more west. They just called it Midland, I guess. Yeah. But it's way more west. Austin, between Austin and Lilano, that's probably mid I don't know, maybe mid-U.S.? I'd have to look that up. That's interesting.
But now, let me say, are you talking about west of Austin or south of? No,
we're way west of Austin.
I got you.
Yeah, way west out here, past Austin, San Antonio, way out.
So you don't
the next major city.
I got you. So you don't have trees out there and such?
If you see trees, that means you're probably going to see a house or where there was a house because someone planted those trees and watered them.
Yeah.
Cared for those trees. There are trees.
So now, what is it like every day out there? This past 7 days you've been there, what's it been like? I mean, is it like a deserty type thing, or?
Yeah. I mean, you see dust in the horizon, especially when you get a lot of wind. You'll see the dust kick up, sand and silt, and so it gets really hazy in the sky. But I mean, it's been really. But as it gets darker and later, it gets really dark out here. You can see all the stars. I'm sure you can see that at your house too, but. And they got a couple of production facilities surrounding us, and you can hear one of them. Sounds like a jet engine with the gas going through the system out there. And then, of course, you got our drilling rig that's loud, always moving something around. But it's a unique, cool experience to be on a rig. But this rig's a little different. Usually you can park up next to where we work, but here they want us to park way on the other side. We have to walk across, and then we're the only ones manned on the back side of this rig. So it's kind of lonely over here, but we're here.
But now, a rig, I mean, really, how big of a complex is that? Is it just? It's not just a wellhead, I'm sure. But I mean, what's it?
No,
like a rig you find out on the water, or is it? What's it look like?
Yeah, you gotta have all the supporting equipment, the supporting materials, and everything around it. It's usually like 100 yards one way and 100 yards the other way. So it's like 100 square yards, most of them. And they just put all the equipment around it. You got to have all the liquids, all the fuel to run everything, and it takes fuel to get to the fuel. That's what I always look at.
It's money, make money. Now, How many of you guys are out there working on a seal? What does a seal look like?
Yeah, well, for me, it's just me and then my relief. And he goes home. He works his 12 hours, and he drives home, which is a hotel room, sleeps there for 12, and then comes back and relieves me in the morning. And I'll go and sleep my 12 hours and come back. So it's just a cycle. But there's about 12 to 13 a night. So probably 24 people total working on this job.
I guess you don't get many sick days with just two of you, huh?
There is no such thing as a sick day. You better not get sick. And with this COVID crap, anybody gets sick, you're probably going home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, so now, out there in Midland, Texas, you know, we hadn't got to go back, you know, to the, I know this is, you talked about some of the things they went through there. What forms chert?
The chert, it's SiO2, which is silica oxide, which is essentially quartz glass, and it just forms from, usually it's matte, deep water basins, and you get the little creatures that have silica bodies, and they all fall to the bottom and die. They have a mass die off of them, an extinction, so to say, and they all fall to the bottom.
Bart, I think I might have lost Bart. But I'll tell you what, I can add Bart back.
Hello.
There you are.
Yeah, I hear you. No, I was
okay.
telling you about the chert mats that are in the deep water environment. All the little bodies of the creatures fall to the bottom.
Yeah.
On those chert mats.
Okay, I didn't hear about the mats. I heard about the chert falling, and then you came back with the mats. But now, what do you mean by mats? Explain that for me.
Like I said, it's the little bodies of the creatures that are silica oxide, almost like quartz, and they fall to the bottom, and they all form mats. And these mats will, it'll harden up into chert. Eventually, over millions of years with pressure and more formation laid on top, and it's just doom, 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 doom. It builds up. But usually the chert's not very thick, and then the chert you'll see now, you see chert and rocks. A lot of those rounded rocks that come out of the river, you can find a lot of chert like that. But usually it's a flat plane, and it breaks like a glass.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a tough thing for drillers.
Yeah, I guess it probably would be, even with but now it's on I'm sure on a hardness scale it's pretty up there. But now you mentioned how far I'm trying to understand that area over there. I'm trying to get it to geological time, because like whenever I think about a place, I think about it, it's geological time. But I don't know relative to where I'm at. With it being underwater, I guess it's probably been underwater.
Yeah, it was underwater. It was part of the Gondwanavian sequence when the planet was, they had Pangea and they had Gondwana, where everything was smashed together and then brought apart, and you had little land masses here and there. It's crazy to even think that the Earth was once the way it looked.
Yeah.
And it's changed over time. And it's going to do it again, because that's the Earth's natural processes.
Yeah.
Moving around to where the North Pole was over here, actually the land masses were moved all around. So, this parts were real far, and this was actually closer to the equator, this area at that time. Whether the Earth tilted more or the land masses moved more that way or this way. Who would know?
It's probably doing all of that. All of that, probably.
Yeah, you got a combination of the Earth's tilt, the Earth's movement around the sun, and the actual planet itself wanting to move its masses around. And so this was a basin, though. So it was like a Gulf of Mexico type deal. So you got real shallow on one side, and then it goes real deep, and then back to shallow on the other side. And they can see those formations as they get real thin on the outside, the beach side, and then get real deep. So you might have a sandy beach on one side, and then you get deeper to deep marine clays and shales over here, and cherts and things like that. And then it gets shallow again, beachy. And then you get to, areas where you have the salt and so forth. But what we're going to drill down into is the karst stuff, which was the cave limestones, which are current, like in Florida right now, where you have those sinkholes.
Yeah.
That's what we're going down into. 450 million year old, I believe it's Ordovician limestones that are sitting on top of a granite wash that are on top of the basement rock. So at one time, it deposited all these limestones and then created these caves, stalactites, stalagmites. And then as time came, all that got smashed in and got crushed and then compacted. And now we're going to drill into those zones, which there shouldn't be too much permeability or movement of fluid in there, but they're expecting some losses of fluid. Which would tell me that's probably their injection zones they want to get to. Or ancient cave complexes.
Now I wonder how long it's been since they've seen the sun.
Well, I mean, we can guess 300 million years, 400 million years ago.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Can you believe that? And we got to go 12,000 feet to find it. Almost a little over 2 miles.
But at one point in time, that stuff was up here, I guess, wasn't it?
That stuff was on the surface. That's right. And a lot of these formations down here, you can find them on surface somewhere. Somewhere in the United States, you can find that age rock on surface. So you'll find Ordovician age, Silurian age. You find all these rocks, and that's how the geologists will study it. They'll find the rock on the surface. They'll look at it here, and then they'll do research. But it like I said, it can change forms. Like the rock, the beach down in Galveston is depositing sand right now. But then offshore Galveston, further out, you're depositing clays,
Yeah.
And those would be the same age rocks.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing here.
Yeah, what's really fascinated me lately is I kind of ride along. I started noticing all these rolling hills over there on the west side of the Ouachita River. And then on the east side of the Saline River, which both of them feed into a valley and they turn into one river at a conflux later on down the road. But I started dragging out my compass and riding along there. And man, that it goes from around 50 feet above sea level to around 310 feet above sea level over on the other side of the Ouachita River. And those hills, those rolling hills, I guess, with water. And I could see, but like you said, all of that, whether it be 50 feet above sea level or 310 feet above sea level, are collecting it right now. So I get what you're saying. It's going to collect at different spots. And you're talking about it could be like over a huge landmass, where you're finding the edge of it. That's pretty smart to figure that out, too, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the USGS has actually done an awesome job of, if you go to their website, they got all kind of information and maps you can find.
Yeah.
Where these formations outcrop on surface, what you might find in them, whether you're going to find fossils or different minerals. And
I noticed a long time ago when my uncle had a water drilling rig in business, and he would pull up stuff, rock. We live in the Delta where it's dirt for a long way. Okay, it's just dirt and sand. But when you get down there and start finding rocks, he started pulling up rocks, and I started seeing, of course, fossils inside of the rocks that was getting pulled up. And of course, you find those same fossils over there at 1,200 feet above sea level up in North Arkansas, because on that Ozark Range, because as I understand, that was old rock, and then it got jammed up into mountains much later on, way after the water receded.
Yeah, that's all the Ouachita mountain building. And you can see in Little Rock, you'll see all those limestones that are all pushed up right there when you're driving in.
Yeah. The sideways. It's all been crushed and pushed up. And all that's, I haven't done enough research on I've done a little bit, but I know there's a lot of marine sediments. Oh, yeah.
It used to all be marine, because most of the earth was underwater at one time, and there was only a little bit of land.
So, I guess that's when it's real hot. But now, over there where you're at, what do you think you're above sea level at over there? Do you know?
I think we're 3,000 feet. 3,000.
Oh, you're 3,000 feet?
Yeah, we're about 3,000.
You're way higher. We're at 120 feet in my house.
Jeez, really? I would have thought it had been higher, because I think even my house in Townball is like 70 feet.
But I'm in a river valley, though.
Okay. Yeah, but measured to mean sea level? Are y'all measured to the Atlantic, the Pacific, or the Gulf of Mexico?
I'm just reading what my phone tells me.
Yeah, okay.
So I guess it's the mean sea level.
Yeah, I don't know which sea it is. And I remember that you have tides, and the sea goes up and down. I wonder if it actually reacts to that.
I don't know. It does change. I have seen it where it deviates within 20 or so feet.
Okay, well, that could be for tides.
Oh, that's a great idea. You know what? I didn't even think about that. I wonder how that works. Because, Apple and Google and all this stuff, that stuff, they even have a guitar tuner now. I don't know if you know about that, but you can type in Google Tuner and it give them your mic.
And it'll tune. Yeah, I've done the YouTube one where it plays it'll play the note for you. You just
tune it in. Yeah.
Match it.
Yeah. It's amazing what all they've done with that. But I never cease to get enthralled about the past, because it's just, and as the older we get, hitting as close to 50, it's kind of like, this thing's been going on for a long time, man. It's
man. Yeah, there's been thousands of creatures that don't exist anymore on this planet that are down there.
Yeah.
That we go through, and for us, they're alien. But for, geologists, they're just fossils of creatures that we've identified. So do they exist somewhere else on another planet? Do they exist, we could come across another planet where it's evolving in the same fashion. And those things may exist.
I tell you, I love the idea that I heard from that quantum physics group over there in Los Angeles. They said that all time exists all the time. It looks different from your particular point in location, but they're existing right now, exist in their time. I mean, that particular physics, if you the way they look at it, they're using Einsteinian physics to suggest that. I like to keep that in my mind. I know that may be a little bit fanciful, for all.
Right. Well, let me ask you: Can you see the moon right now?
I can.
Yes, and it's a 1/4.
Yeah, it's small.
Okay. Yeah, that's the same moon I'm looking at.
That's right.
So you're over there, and I'm here.
Yeah.
Thousands of miles away, we can see the same moon.
Yeah.
So we're existing on the same time frame looking at the moon. We're seeing the same light reflected off of it.
Yeah.
No matter where we're at.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so weird. I when I study history, I see like little civilizations that pop up in different places, and I go, wow. Like, nobody even knew it. Like, 1,000 miles over, nobody knew what the hell was going on in your little civilization. You were building big stuff and doing great stuff and teaching your kids football and doing all these wonderful things. And over there, right across that pond, nobody knew what the hell was going on over here.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's possibly what's going on in our universe.
Oh yeah,
probably what's going on, and I mean,
man, as big as it is, it's definitely what's going on somewhere or the other, you know.
Yeah. One day we'll have more knowledge on it. That's our quest. Obviously, that's our quest.
Those silica life bodies you were talking about a little bit ago, it's interesting. I saw this thing pop up the other day about a critter that had clear blood. So that's kind of weird for me because I think of blood, I think of something that carries around nutrients, which is packed full of shit, you know.
Yep. Well, I'm sure as long as it's got cells in it, living cells.
Yeah.
Remember, we got cells inside our cells, and the cells are actually, it's like we have little living creatures inside of ourselves, you know? That's essentially what cells are.
Oh, it is.
Interesting to think about, you know?
What they talk about it.
The cells have little, and that's the cell's job. So
it's alive. We're their universe, man. It's kind of like us. We're kind of, you know, if we die, they're probably fucked. I'm guessing. You know?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. So we're their host. We host the cells. So maybe the cells are in charge of everything on this planet.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, you know, you look at the number of that. Now, what of that stays alive? I don't know. So that you know, you're talking about those things existing somewhere. I hear that each person's body has a certain percentage of it, the biognome or something like that, that's cells that aren't even us. Now, the cells you and I are talking about now are of at least us, but there's whole other hosts. We're a host of other cells that aren't even us, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, these are the ones we feed, the ones that we keep alive, and they in turn do all the work for us internally. They move all the food, nutrients, and kill off all the bad stuff for us.
Yeah.
Do all the work. So, you know, everything's internal to everything else. So, what if our planet's inside the stomach of a giant creature?
Yeah.
Wait a second. Then how are the stars there? Never mind.
Hey, man. No, dude. It's that could be what a cell is. This whole universe we call the universe could be a cell. We don't know that. We're just looking at the outside of it when we look down.
Right. Well, we obviously know there's a massive scale.
Oh yeah.
Massive because the stars.
Yeah, but even then, don't we suspect? I mean, a lot of string theorists anyway, that there's at least a certain number of other dimensions or universes. I mean, I thought that was pretty standard physics. I don't know how the string theory may not be as strong as it used to be. I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
But yeah, you're right though. Just the pure size of it. I mean, technically, from what I hear, you know, we can see what Hubble done has been just truly amazing. But we have seen back at stars that almost at the very beginning of the universe, like 14 billion years ago. You know, we're looking at stuff that far back.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. You look at a star twinkling, that was light from that star, you know, millions and billions of light years away. So that was you're looking at the past, essentially.
Yeah.
You're looking at a twinkle from the past.
Yeah, like with our sun, it takes 8 minutes. Just imagine something millions and billions of light years away. You know?
Right. Like the moon. What is the moon? Maybe 5 minutes? 3 minutes?
I bet it's it. Yeah, because it's like, 258,000 miles away? 250,000 miles. Yeah. So
you want to see the past? You just look at the moon a little bit. Hey, look, that was 5 minutes ago. Well, then you got the 8-minute light coming off the sun reflecting back. Oh, it's a little more than that, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
So there you go.
Bouncing here and there and doing all kinds of different things with that. Hey, man, you know, there's so many of that little small molecular stuff to study, but all of that stuff gets vastly important when you start grabbing a piece of reality and really inspecting it, what all's going on with it, you know.
Right. I mean, you look up and you see all the dark space in between the stars. You're like, what? I thought there was so many stars that there wouldn't be any dark space.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, there are stars in that dark space. You just can't see them.
We can't perceive them. Yeah. And not only that, but, I mean, as I understand it, a lot of those quote-unquote stars are galaxies. You know.
A whole galaxy full of more stars, more planets.
I forget what the number is. They say it's like, 100 billion stars in the average galaxy or something like that. It's a huge number.
Yeah, that's it. No wonder the Elon Musk and these guys are trying to push us to space a lot faster. They're tired of NASA, I guess. They move too slow. Too much politics involved. Let's do it ourselves.
It is too slow, is it not?
I mean, you would think that we're advancing so quickly. Since the 80s, we have advanced tremendously. And it's like, we can do a lot of stuff.
And if you look at what we're doing with manufacturing, if you look at what we're doing with computer power, and all of that ties right into space exploration. So there's no reason why that we're not at Mars already. In fact, it's bullshit that we're not. You know?
Exactly, and we should have the whole planet covered with robots, exploring and setting and building and setting everything up for the humans to come. You know, send the robots up there, get them to work. Get some oxygen going and get us there.
You know,
that's simple.
You mentioned that last time about, I know you mentioned it, I feel confident you did, about the, something hitting Earth a very long time ago. We don't know which period, I don't know, you may know, but, and then a part of it maybe forming part of the moon, at least some of it anyway, maybe other parts forming it as well. And I got to look at it, and that's a very viable thing, isn't it?
That is very viable. That's that's what they said, based on the moon rocks they brought back, that it was actually representative of some of the early Precambrian rock that's on the Earth.
I wonder if they found fossils in it. That'd be intriguing. That's something that's had the same fossils we here do on here on Earth. I mean,
well, the problem is it was all igneous. It was all molten lava.
It was burnt.
It's molten rock, so there's no, there was no fossils in it. And if there were, they would have burned.
If you have something large enough and fast enough to hit and break off a piece of the Earth, you're right. It's going to be, at least, it's going to be a big fire. So yeah. Now you may drill real deep into it and find something.
You never know. You never know. You may find a piece that was, like when a volcano explodes, you find remnants of things buried in the dust or buried in the volcanic ash.
Yeah.
There's something that was preserved somehow.
Yeah, and it seems like, we've been so lucky with finding things. Like the last few years, I just saw those footprints that we found in the Americas. I think it was over close to where you were at before you're at where you're at now. They found those footprints over there. Did you see that come across your screen? Or
I didn't see that. Where was this?
It was somewhere in New Mexico. It was 23,000-year-old human footprints.
Oh, geez, yeah. That doesn't surprise me. I remember they said it, so now we're 100,000-year-old humans have been on the planet.
Hey, some people say 200,000, 196,000.
Yeah, maybe longer. We just know we weren't here when the dinosaurs were here. That we would have found remains around the dinosaurs, but we haven't.
I don't believe that, because I think we were basically rats after that. But now I know that the Neanderthals have been around for 600,000 years, and I know that we have, me and you probably both have about 3 to 5% of that genome in us. So.
That's true. Well, we're still looking for the, if we actually drill into the missing spacecraft that brought everybody here.
I thought we found it.
Have they found it?
Yeah, it was called water that came in on a comet billions of years ago.
The evolution of the single cell. Could have been, yeah.
I've been hearing my high school students been talking about that. Of course, you know, when you get those cells to divide, you know, and then that's cool. But when they start adding together again and making something bigger, that gets to be pretty fascinating.
That's right. That's obviously how we develop.
So basically, you get some water and some rocks, and next thing you know, you're gonna have something walking around. You know?
Is it really that simple?
Well, I may be oversimplifying it some.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Obviously it takes time, just like lifetimes, just like everything else on this planet. We're here for a tiny little bit.
Oh man, and like lately, you know, again, 50 is approaching me in a month and days, less than 2 weeks, week and a half, whatever. And I'm sitting there looking at it, and I see these obituaries pop up every day of dudes just around my age and 20 years older. You know, I'm sitting there going, oof, 70. You know. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's part of the cycle, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean,
part of the cycle.
Hey, at first I was freaking out about it. Then, you know, I started thinking, I've done the best I could. I mean, I've done, you know, some things that I'm not proud of, but as a general rule, I feel like I've given back. So, but I don't know that you have to have that, because there's been, you know, billions of creatures, millions, I don't know how many hominoids that have came and lived and survived, and some of them we remember, and some of them get lost along the way. They become fossils or something.
Become oil and gas that we use today. So their bodies and their all their stuff is helping us survive today to reach our goals, you know, and then we hand it down to the next generation, our kids, the next generation of kids, and we say, all right, y'all do the best you can with it.
That's your job now, bud.
And that's it.
Kind of like that song, and maybe a Texas dude over there. I don't know that. Keep the Wolves Away, Uncle Lucius. Where's he from?
I'm not sure where Uncle Lucius is from, but
I
don't know who that is.
Yeah, you know the song anyway, for sure. Yeah, kind of like handing that baton off. Yeah, I'm voluminously fascinated by that. I mean, it's you know, and of course, you know, I don't want to veer too far on this, but you know, I threw the idea of a song for Tyler, you know, for a mutual friend, I should say. And of course, I don't know. I mean, music. I sit there and I study all these cultures, and you see that, like, it seems like to me that, you know, cultures that get up and dance do pretty well. You know, it's like a mending process. I'm kind of disappointed in where music is right now, because there's none of that. You know,
it doesn't seem like there's a lot of feeling, a lot of. I just don't feel the songs. It sounds like it was written in it was typed up on a computer, and somebody said, "Oh, here we go. Okay, this is good." Not like from a natural environment, and then somebody really sings it from the heart.
No, it's not even created with instruments, though. They're not even using real instruments on this stuff. It's just, you know, well, I mean, it's instruments, digital instruments, but it's not like a stringed instrument, you know. It's not like a real drum kit, I don't think.
Or somebody sat down and wrote it on their guitar, you know. Oh, listen to this.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
can you play that on their guitar? Let me hear that.
I tell you this. I got so happy last night. I found Chordify. I've never used Chordify before. I always just learned it the hard way, I guess. I could call this the easy way, because it plays along and it's basically giving you the chords or notes or whatever to play to do the song on whatever guitar you want to play. And I was like, oh my God. But you know, the one I did, I don't know if you remember the song or not. It was a wild offshoot called The Magnificent Bastards, and the song was Mockingbird Girl. Do you ever remember that?
I do not remember that. I remember a movie called that, but I do not remember the song.
You'll remember it if you hear it, because it's like, I remember hearing it going, damn, I remember hearing that song in college, at graduate school down in Texas, because it came out in 95 or so, but I didn't know that was Wallen. I did not know that song was him.
Wow.
And then like recently, and I was like, oh, it was for some movie. Anyway, there you go. That's just music trivia.
Well, you're never too old to keep trying to write some music and make something different, you know?
Hey.
That's what we're still doing.
Well, I mean, I do every single day. We were talking about the other day, you know, about playing music. And I was thinking about you a little bit ago. I was like, I've seen Bart, you know, I didn't get to play a long time, just a few months. Like, I got to see, you know, going into a room with just a bunch of other people and sitting there for 4 or 6 hours and just playing the same songs or new songs or a list over and over like that. Man, that's one of the greatest experiences I think a person can have. You know, if you're, you know, specifically if you're like beside somebody like Bart, and like I always tell people, Bart is like this guitar god. I mean, I just couldn't believe all the shit you pulled, that little sunburst looking fucking Ibanez you had at the time. You know?
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's what I had. I remember that. We used to just play and play. You know, even though I look back and I'm like, man, I was terrible. Man, I remember. I mean, I had a good understanding of what I wanted to do, and I wanted to play from the heart and just, you know, just let my fingers do the work and let the brain run to the fingers and find the way.
Well, I mean, that's how you get to that level. They say old Malcolm Gladwell wrote that book on it called The Outliers. And basically in that book I learned, and you may have learned, and you may have learned it somewhere else, was like you spend 10,000 hours doing something, you're pretty good at it, you know, which is about 5 years and 30 hours a week, you know.
That sounds about exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing about being human. If
you
really can, if you really want something bad, and you dedicate your time and energy to it, you can actually be good at it.
Oh, yeah. Whatever it is.
No matter what anybody else tells you.
Yeah.
And I think usually somebody else telling you is your motivator. That's the thing that says, hey, I'm going to do this. I ain't got time for opinions, you know. Opinions are like something. Everybody's got one.
Hey, you know, I love that Big Lebowski movie, and that's like, one of his things on there is like, hey, man, that's just like your opinion, man. You know, that's opinion. It doesn't mean shit to me. I don't care.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. That's why you just run shit over and do what you got to do.
Hey, man, I'm going to tell you this. Most of the things that I've learned in life is either being by going against what people said I couldn't do, or by making a mistake and learning something big from it. So, there you go.
That's right. Risk equals reward most of the time.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean that's for sure. So, when are you gonna get to go back to South Texas?
South Texas, drilling South Texas? You mean like Eagleford stuff?
No. When are you gonna go back home?
Back to Southeast Texas.
Southeast Texas.
Yeah, it's as soon as we finish this well, which, if everything goes perfect, it will be tomorrow night. Sometime Sunday. Maybe even they'll finish it while I'm sleeping, and he'll text me and say, hey, you don't have to come because we're TD. Total depth.
So, now you've been there for 7 days, and I guess you spent... now, whenever I spoke with you last, you were going out to the other job that you went to, and then you got moved to this one, or what?
I was heading to Jowell, New Mexico on a different job. So drilling some wells.
Tell me about that experience. Was there anything cool that happened upon while you were out there?
No. I mean, it was just regular. And they're just well hopping you from well to well. they want you out there usually for the laterals, so they'll drill 2 miles. They'll drill 2 miles straight, horizontal. So they go down and they turn, and then they just want to make sure that they're staying in the same formation the whole time. So we're kind of a validation, a geological validation. So we look at all the cuttings as they come up, and we verify it, put it on a log, send it in every day, and let them know that they're on track or they're off track. That's essentially what it is. And then you go to the next job.
Yeah.
And the next job. And some of the jobs have been, well, due to COVID, we have no place for you to stay on location. Because usually they have trailers, and they'll let you stay in the trailers on the location.
Yeah.
They got bunk beds in the rooms and so forth. But this will be the second one where I've had to stay in a hotel and drive back and forth every day.
Yeah.
To get back. Versus offshore where you're there all the time.
Yeah. You hadn't got that hour drive every day or whatever.
Right.
Wow. So now, did you get to explore around any and kind of check out that area over there and see anything that kind of stuck out to you, or did you just work all the time?
It's usually just work. I mean, you pass by stuff and see it, but no, basically this is all just flat. There's cotton fields out here, and there's wells everywhere. So branches, cotton fields, and wells. That's about all I've seen. Until you get to where we're staying in Midland. You know, there's a town, there's restaurants, there's food. There's a washateria even. I found the washing clothes.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, it sure would be nice. I can think in some places, I think you probably had it where they've probably done it for you, but I bet, I'd miss that.
I'm sure they took care of everything. Here, you're kind of on your own. If you're on location, they usually have washing machines in these trailers for you. But
yeah,
again, my wife said, "Why don't you just wash it in the bathtub or in the sink?" Well, I'll just go to the wash here for $4 and
put them in there. I spent a many a day. You got to travel. I mean, that's what you got to do. I mean, that's what it is. Specifically, if you can't come home every week. If I come home every week, you can do it. But if you're out there on the road, and sometimes if you're outside, you just get really dirty. Washing it in the bathtub just ain't gonna keep it clean for me. And it's not gonna be as nice. It's gonna smell like Downy.
You do the best you can with what you got out here. So.
I guarantee you. Well, man, I tell you this, I'm going to check back in with you. So maybe your next go around, you get back out. I know I like hearing about what you have to say, man. That's the first 30 minutes of our conversation. I'm going to go back and listen to that 5 or 6 times, and I'd probably encourage everybody else to, because I think I learned a few things there. My goodness, son.
Hopefully I got it right,
Well, I mean,
but
I guarantee it sounded smart anyway.
Yeah.
No, I'm picking with you. I know you know your business. And of course we all, I mean, come on, we're not, none of us we have interesting existences, and to share that with other people, a little slice of it, man, I am profoundly appreciative.
That's right. It'll last forever now.
Oh, yeah, hopefully. I mean, if it's talked on these waves, hopefully it'll go out through space. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
All right, we'll put it on the main hard drive that goes to the next planet.
Hey, it's already in the cloud, baby. It's already
all right.
Hey, I'm going to talk to you later, Bart. Man, I love you, man. I appreciate your time.
All right, Brad.
All right, bye.